Tender-Hearted, the podcast for those of us who struggle with being extra sensitive in a less than sensitive world. This is your host, Amy Kelso. I'm a writer, speaker, teacher, and advocate for anyone who is tender-hearted or cares about someone who is. Hello, and welcome to Tender-Hearted. This is your host, Amy Kelso, and today what we're going to talk about, I kind of mentioned it last time, was we're going to talk about bullying and the effect that bullying can have on someone, particularly on someone who is a tender heart. So a lot of this will be based on my own experience, but again, I have a feeling that a lot of this will be similar to other tender hearts and what they've gone through. So when I was in school, specifically 4th and 5th grade, we moved to a different school after 3rd grade. So I was in a brand new school, and again, I was a bit of an oddball. I was a little different. In addition, because of several things. First of all, never been assessed, but I'm fairly confident that I have dyslexia. I struggled with learning to read as well as math because of it. And then also because I switched school districts, which were on a different timeline. All of those things combined so that I was behind in reading and in math from all of my classmates. So, brand new to the school, behind in all of my classes, and a little bit of an odd duck, so to speak. All of those combined to make me the perfect target for bullies. And I was. Literally for 4th and 5th grade, I didn't have any friends. I was picked on. I spent a lot of my time on the swings where I could just be by myself, swinging back and forth, singing to myself. I suspect using those things to help regulate my emotions, looking back at it now. But again, when I was around other kids, they would target me. My last name is Kelso, and at the time at least, I don't know if it's still in existence, but I know at the time there was a dog food brand named Calcan. So of course that was the name that they decided to call me. So instead of Amy Kelso, I was Amy Calcan, which even now hearing that word, I feel the triggers of that. So, that was really hard. I was always the kid who was picked last when they picked teams, playing dodgeball, where they literally would throw balls at the wall at you. Yes, I was the one they would target. And the other thing that I remember during that time is at some point, I learned that if I told the teacher I wasn't feeling well, I could go to the office. And in the office at that time, there was a nurse. And they had the nurse's area when she had a room where if kids weren't feeling well, they could lay down and relax until their parents could get them or they felt better or whatever. I spent a lot of time in that room. I know because I know exactly what the sheets on that bed looked like. They were Barnum and Bailey themed ones. I remember that specifically. I remember sitting in there a lot of times because being in class was just too hard for me because I was being picked on I was dealing with depression even then. So the good news was I had a place to go. The bad news was nobody ever did anything about the situation. Nobody asked me if I was dealing with emotional issues or any of that. Like, oh, Amy's here again. Okay, you go lay down. Maybe you'll feel better later. And I don't know, to this day, if the nurse realized why I was coming down all the time and was just trying to give me that safe place, or if they didn't even realize and just like, why does she keep coming here? I don't know. But I am blessed that I could do that, and also not so blessed because nobody thought maybe this is an issue that should be dealt with. I know that I told my parents what was going on, and at the time I got the advice that so often is given when people don't know what to say, and they're like, you just gotta let them not get to you. They pick on you because they know they can get to you. So just don't let it get to you. Unfortunately, though they didn't mean to, what they were teaching me at that time was just mask, hide your feelings. If people can't see your feelings, they won't bother you. So I learned how to do very, very well is mask my feelings. I don't think that was the only thing that caused me to learn to mask my feelings, but definitely that contributed to it. To the point where now at 50, I'm trying to work through being honest with my therapist about how I'm feeling, and it's so hard because all my life I've been taught to hide my feelings, to act like everything okay when it's not. And it's really hard to break that habit. So that is just one of the issues that comes from bullying, is learning how to hide your feelings to a fault. I think that there is a lot, I really feel like we need to do some research into the PTSD that comes from being bullied. I think that that is a trauma event that a child to go through, especially a sensitive child, to have everyone gang up against you and treat you like trash for 2 years. What does that do for a child's self-esteem? And, I feel like the common belief system is, bullying just happens. It'll teach kids. They'll get tougher. They'll be able to handle it. It did teach me a lot. I don't think they were good things that they taught me. They taught me how to hide my feelings, how to let people pick on me. So a lot of the things that I've gone through in later life, maybe because of some of those lessons that I learned from going through these traumatic years of literally being bullied. And I really think we need some serious research on what happens to kids that go through a real bullying situation, and how to help them, how to heal them, and obviously, ideally, how to prevent it from happening in the first place. Final note, I will say that one of the reasons that I decided to become a teacher, and one of my strongest beliefs as a teacher, has always been, I will not put up with bullying of any kind, and any student who tries, I will stop it right away. I do what I can in my classroom, but unfortunately, that's only in my classroom. And there's a lot of ways for bullying to happen with teachers not knowing, especially now with cyberbullying and everything else. That's just like a whole nother realm. And it's very scary what our kids are going through, and we need to do something about it. And especially if it's a tender heart. So if you have a tender-hearted child that is going through bullying, first and most important is to believe them. Second is to advocate for them, stand up, do what you can to, change that situation. But at the very least, just make sure you take it seriously, because it is a very serious thing. And it's not something to just brush off and say, oh, you'll get used to it. You'll be okay. Just learn to deal with it. Because what you're telling a child is, learn to deal with people treating you poorly. And then we learn. And then we get into relationships, and that's what we're used to, and that's not what we want. So there is just some thoughts about bullying for today. Hopefully that helped. As always, if you have any comments, feel free to put them in the comment section. And thanks for being with me today. And I'll talk to you next time.